So lots of people are 3D printing these protective shields now. They look kind of like that. They get a transparency punched and popped over these holes, and then they fit onto your head like that. This is the Prusa one, which is very popular, and this is the 3D Fergstun design. It looks like that. And most of these designs work pretty well. I find this one is a bit tight on your temples though. I might not bother everyone. But about the best one that I've come across is this 3D PSA design from South Africa, which doesn't require any clips or punching any holes or anything. It has this gap with two ridges inside there that grips the transparency. And it grips it really well. Here I've got an assembled one. And you can see this thing is going absolutely nowhere. And it fits like that. It's extremely comfortable. It wraps nicely around your head. There's no pressure anywhere. And so if you're going to 3D print something, to my mind, this is the best one you could go with. But what we've seen in South Africa is we started printing these things and assumed that industry would come in at some point, mass produce them, and they would cost nothing. But instead, industry are mass producing them, and they're still charging a lot of money for them. Typically, these cost about 50 USD cents to produce, plus whatever the transparency is worth, not a lot. And they're sometimes charging 10 times that, the companies that supply something similar. So I was looking for something that would have the characteristics of this at a much cheaper price point that you could also produce quickly, because 3D printing these things takes anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour and a half. And the NYU design looks sort of like that, but I found it didn't really fit very nicely. It flopped around a lot, and so I tried to come up with something that's a bit more like this design, but that you could make at home with pretty much no tools and in a few minutes. And this is it. There's the finished thing. It tries to have the same shape around your head as this 3D PSA one. It comes pretty close. It's pretty stable, doesn't flop around too much. Similarly, there are two bands of plastic here, and the transparency is loose within there, and the plastic grips it, so you can set it to whatever height you want. If you want to have a bit more protection over your forehead, then you can set it higher. And it doesn't grip as well as the 3D PSA one, but it's pretty stable. I would say it's not going to slip out of there while you're using it. But if you're worried about it, about losing it when you take the headband on and off, where it gets a little bit floppier, you could put a staple in it. So it's really just two bands of plastic. This is PVC, 200 micron, 2 strips, a couple of staples, and you can make these in a few minutes with a knife, a stapler, a pair of pliers, and something to make a hole with, a drill, a punch. That's about it. It costs virtually nothing to make. The transparency is a couple of US cents. The PVC that I've used here is probably, okay, I'm going to have to pause. So, as long as you can get hold of some of this plastic or something of a similar thickness, you should be able to churn out a lot of these from your kitchen if you had to. You should be able to do it a lot faster than 3D printing processes can do, and pretty much anyone can make it. If we really need tens of thousands of these things by tomorrow, then why take a week to get a few thousand? It doesn't really make sense. If they're important to have tomorrow, then you need to be able to make them tomorrow. Mass produce them, make them fast, get a lot of people making something simple like this that works well enough and costs nothing. There's another video that will show you exactly how to make it, but I'll just give you a quick idea. 2 strips of plastic, 2 centimeters wide, 600 long. You basically have a few staples. I'll just pop in one there, and you bend it. You have a bit of a template that you can print out just to get the shape more or less right, and then bend, staple there to get that shape right as well. And a staple, and that is more or less the finished product.